Hello everyone, welcome to day 138 of playing chess every day for a year. Let's find the game. We're starting as black here, and we get e4, so I'll play the Caro-Kann. We get the hillbilly attack. Bishop away. I can play this. If I am attacked twice, I'll just defend. d4. I could take or I could push. I think taking is dangerous once the queen retakes, because I could get double pinned. I could just push. It seems good. I don't have to take, I could just develop my knight. I think I'll just develop my knight here. I'm threatening to take now. I do have checks. I don't think they do anything right now though. My opponent's taking a long time here. I think my opponent isn't here. They're taking just far too long to make a move. And my opponent has returned and they take. They take on e5, so I'm quite sure I can just take with the knight here. And we just go for queen trade. My opponent wins a pawn, but I have a check. It doesn't do much. If a check blocks, I have check again. King has to move. I'll take the loss of the pawn. This bishop is very annoying, but okay, so now I have to go after the bishop, bring my other pieces, and could attack this straight away. I think I'll just develop naturally here and just go to castle. My opponent attacks my knight. Taking here doesn't work. I could move the knight, I don't know where to. I could just jump the knight back this way, or this way. I'll just play this way. Knight out. I can jump my knight in to either threaten the fork, or hit the bishop. I can also castle now. If my opponent long castles, they have a nice position, but yeah, if I play knight in here, they can long castle. But I can damage the structure, so I think I'll play this. My opponent castles. I wish I had this, but I don't. So now I have this discovered check to win a pawn. Now I could just take this pawn, which seems like the best move. I could also just castle now, to be safe. I don't see any checks on my king right now, but there is this one. But it's covered after this move. Develops 10 knights. Seems strong. I have to castle here. I could pin the knight to the rook. If I get attacked, I can just move. And it hits my bishop. I could jump in this way, but that's a terrible move. So if I take, they can take, and then I can take. So take, they have to move the rook as well, and then I can pin. I mean, this rook is almost trapped. While my opponent goes down the exchange, really. If the knight takes, I have a check. I have this check. The king moves. I have this move. I think I'll just castle here. Stay safe. I have the rook pair. I could jump in here now to hit the rook. And then I'd have this check. Wow, this looks actually very good for me. Because the rook has to move. If the rook moves to the back rank, I have this check. The king has to move, and then I'd have another check. So the rook has to go to e2, I think. My opponent goes for that. So now I still have a check, it doesn't do much. Could go for this. Simple way of attacking my opponent. Now I'm actually threatening a very dangerous move. Knight d2 check, which is almost checkmate. They make space. So now if I give a check and the king moves, check, so check, king moves. I don't have any good checks after that. If I go here, to attack this. That seems okay. That move threatens a fork. I can just slide. Well, I can't slide this rook up, but I can slide this rook up. But then check, I still lose the rook. I have this check now. But then the king is actually able to come in. Check if the king comes in. Check if the king comes in, I can probably just... I'd have a discover check. No, that doesn't work. This is a big threat. And I can't defend it with this rook. I could just block. But then I still lose the rook. But then I win the bishop. So if I block and they win my rook, I win their bishop. So I block, they check, I move, they win the rook. I win the bishop. And then I'm actually winning. So I will go for this. Check, I move, if they take, I take with tempo on the rook, so yeah. If they take, I take. They take. I can take with tempo on the rook. And now both my opponent's pieces are hanging. The rook and the knight. That's just an even trade. If I go here. So if my opponent takes, I can take. This is such a draw. I could go check now, but then the king just moves. Could go for this move, but then the knight... I don't want to go into this endgame, but I could just jump back, but then the knight wins this pawn. I'll go for this endgame. I can start pushing my pieces right now. Winning these pawns is the most important. King over. I mean, my opponent's king is cut off, so I can bring mine. My opponent can never make any progress here because of my rook and pawns. Rook over threatens this, but I can just play rook up. I can just play rook up to defend. Rook gets behind. That seems good. I can just go here and block. So my opponent wants to get behind. I could go here. Could go here, and if they go here, I just go here. I do like this. If they attack, I can just go here. If they attack this, I can always just push. My rook controls the d-file very well. I'll bring my king up with my pieces, with my pawns. My opponent's king has no way in. If they go for that, I can actually I would say I can give a check. But now this just loses a pawn. I'll go for the check. King over again. I can give another check. Go over. I don't have this. I do have this. But now I can come in and win these pawns, so if my pawn takes, I take here and they can't take here. Or they can take here actually. But then I just win these. I can give this check now. Just take this. And start pushing my own pawns. Now I'll go here and just push the king back. And now I can kick the king away. And I win the game. So let's look at this game. I played at a 73.5, my opponent was a 69.6. I played like a 1250, my opponent like a 1050. And my opponent was gone at one point for a very long time. So they played e4. They hillbilly attack. I should have just taken. If the queen took, I could take with my knight and there was no problem. This was a mistake actually. My knight can get pinned to my king. Then I have to defend it and they can win the piece. Wow, that's a big blunder from me. Instead, I just lose a pawn here. I win a pawn here. And taking the bishop was a mistake. I should have gone... taking the bishop was a mistake because I win the exchange and I have a check. So here I was threatening to actually not only threatening check the rook, but also checkmate if the rook went back or forward. This was a mistake because it goes into... I should have taken the pawn, which protects my knight. Well, it just wins a pawn. In this endgame, it's actually supposed to be a draw. I am slightly better, but it's very small. I can start bringing my king, winning the pawns. This is actually a draw. I should have just taken the pawn. Because of this check, I was actually losing once the king gets here. I should have gone after the pawn. This was a mistake. How come? Because I lose a pawn with check. And the position is just a draw. My opponent makes a huge mistake there, because now I can give this check. It was actually better to push her and force the king further, force the king away while winning the tempo. So here I can just keep pushing, and this is a huge mistake. My opponent had to go back to attack this pawn, and so I can promote and win the game on the back rank. A good win today. It's unfortunate that my opponent wasn't playing for around 6 minutes. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.